You know, it's been about 7 days, and you'd think that we have that intro debacle thing fixed by now. That's showbiz for you, folks. Welcome to Hashtag Spoilers, the hit new web show that is sweeping the nation. I'm your host, Perry the Entertainer. You can follow me on Twitter at the PTE Show. I don't know what the hell that was that I just said right there, but you can follow me on Twitter at the PTE Show. And this is the show where we talk about Smackdown or Impact or whatever you guys want spoiled in your daily lives. And last week we acknowledged and we announced the Season of the People, where you guys control the show just by the click of a mouse. And you guys can send in your channel advertisements or whatever you shall please, and I will plaster them on this show for the entire internet to see. And this week's winner, I guess you could say, is Ryan Davis, the king of wrestling. He wanted to promote his podcast, and I sure as hell allowed it. So you guys can go check out his podcast down in the description box below. Or, hell, he was just so kind to plaster his website here on the desktop here, so you guys can also just click a new tab or something like that and enter that in and go check out some of his podcast, because he does a damn good job, puts a lot of effort into it, and very, very, very underrated podcaster here on YouTube. So you guys definitely need to go check him out. And like I said before, if you want your channel advertisement posted on my desktop somehow, feel free by all means, because I would love to give back to you guys for making the last 20, 30 episodes of this show possible. So let's get on with the week in SmackDown. Remember, this is also the first Thursday edition of SmackDown in about 10 years now, guys. So let's do this. Also, the big thing going on in the world of wrestling, I guess you could say right now, is the whole Daniel Bryan coming back, and he's going to be coming back and making his return on SmackDown this week. So this is a good reason for you guys to tune in. So thank you to Foley is God. Foley is indeed God. So it's a good username. Jerry Lawler, Byron Saxton, and Michael Cole are on commentary. Lawler got a big pop. As you guys knew, I think of something about a diverticulitis disease or something like that. Kept Lawler off of the Raw announce team, and now he's making the transition over to the tape show, probably so that he doesn't have to worry about travel and all sorts of crap like that. And also, you know, something like what happened 3 years ago. And I don't really want to dwell into that situation, but you guys pretty much know the whole heart attack thing. I think it's just it's much more of a lighter thing, especially doing a 3-hour show where you got to sit there for 3 hours and pretty much just, you know, talk, and that you're annoying a shit ton of people, and people like myself who actually just mute the damn TV and tweet the entire show with half the time. So I guess it's good to see it is good to see Lawler back, don't get me wrong, but I guess it's okay to see him back on SmackDown. Byron Saxton, not Brian Saxton. We might have to make that like a fucking thing. I don't know. Byron Saxton interviewed Daniel Bryan in the ring. That's how you start SmackDown off? Okay. Oh, they're starting off SmackDown with it. Okay. Daniel Bryan defeated Kane by disqualification when Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble hit the ring. Big Show and Seth Rollins went to attack Bryan, but he retreated. Roman Reigns came out and stood next to Bryan for a face-off with the heels. Triple H came out and announced a 6-man main event for later. Bryan, Reigns, and Ambrose versus Kane, Rollins, and The Big Show. I'm pretty sure WWE knew that no one cares about Kane and Daniel Bryan, so I guess making SmackDown the Daniel Bryan show, I guess, is going to garner viewers. And hell, this isn't competing against a college football game or the Super Bowl or I don't know, the Pro Bowl. I don't know. It's not competing against any important sports events. So this week I would really have no excuse for not watching SmackDown, other than the fact that I just don't want to watch it. But it's also on Thursday, so you guys didn't get the time change by now. I suggest you get with it now. Damian Mizdow, The Miz, and Alicia Fox defeated Naomi and the Usos. Sandow got a pop almost as big as Bryan. The one thing that I'm kind of scared about with this whole Sandow thing, because I know that's the whole that's a big angle going on in WWE right now, is what's going on with Damian Sandow. The problem is I don't know what WWE is going to try doing with him after the face turn. because he can't do the whole, cheap heat thing anymore. I mean, maybe the cheap pop thing, but that will only get you so far, and that's exactly what happened with the cheap heat thing. The stunt double thing maybe could work, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, but as far as a character standpoint, I think Damien Mizdow, just off of people's hatred of The Miz, and that obviously should tell you a lot about how good Miz is at his job, is how much people love Damien Sandow for. And I can see Sandow being a very big asset to the company if he can keep this, this overness, I guess you could say, because we've seen characters like this before. We've seen this in Alex Riley back in 2011. We've seen it in Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan is still able to garner the big, the cheerings and everything. And it's gonna be interesting to see if Damien Sandow, who I think he was a pretty damn good heel, what he could do as a babyface. I feel that if they pull the trigger on it too early and not explore what you can do with Damien Mizdow and The Miz before you just full out have Sandow or Miz turn on each other and then go through, that whole crap going on. I think WWE's kind of lay out a blueprint with what they want to do with Damien Sandow. And I'm sorry to make this one, this part of the show a little long, because I did want to kind of talk about this Damien Sandow thing, because there was a lot of rumors going around saying he's going to be a babyface pretty soon, and that whole thing with him recording Miz around his house is going to be his entry to being a babyface. So I did want to kind of talk about it, and I felt that I'm a little uncomfortable with it, and I'm cringing a little bit, but just because of how bad we know WWE's creative team can be with their new baby faces, especially when they're as over as Sandow is right now. So I would just be careful. You're walking a very fine line, you know what I mean? So you don't want Sandow to walk off the edge and just plummet to his death as a character. So I would just be careful. Paul Heyman, I like how my voice got really, really deep all of a sudden. Like I all of a sudden just hit puberty in the middle of the show. Paul Heyman comes out. Heyman talks about what happened on Raw, but Seth Rollins comes out to confront him. Rollins is heated and wants to cash in on Brock Lesnar tonight, but he's not here. Shocker. Heyman cuts an awesome promo, and the two teams working together after the Royal Rumble. I think that could work. The thing is, I don't know what WWE has even planned for Seth Rollins for for WrestleMania at this point. I'm not going to say it's obvious, but it's not the route that WWE is going to want to go by having Rollins win the belt on Sunday against Lesnar and Cena. They're not going to want to do that, but it's going to be interesting to see what they have in store for him, and I don't want to see Cena and Rollins again. I don't want to see Rollins and Brock. I just want to see Brock come out the winner, make him look good, because you've spent the last couple weeks kind of having Heyman talk him up as a monster and then not exactly having him back it up, because like I said, he got FU'd and curb stomped last night on Raw, so he needs some sort of kick in his step, going into the Royal Rumble. Especially, you can't have him win the championship as dominant as he did at SummerSlam, and then at this point in his reign, talk about how he's a beast and he ended the Undertaker streak and all this crap, and then you do what you did on Monday, and you basically just, kick dirt at the guy and just go, hey, whatever the fuck you did over the last year doesn't fucking matter, and the only reason you're in this position is because you got the damn title. So WWE not really realizing how important Brock Lesnar is right now, but I wouldn't expect to have him on SmackDown. And for Rollins and Heyman, they always have amazing promos. Well, the two separately have pretty amazing promos until Rollins gets very awkward with it, and we know how awkward Rollins can get with his promos. Heyman, always a master on the mic, and he can make anyone look like $1 million, and that's what Seth Rollins that's what he's doing with Seth Rollins here. And to see Heyman and Rollins, I guess, say, Heyman offering his managerial services to Rollins, that could work, but the only reason I'm saying it couldn't work is because of what they did with Cesaro last year. That was their whole blueprint with Cesaro, was to make him into this freaking god because Paul Heyman's talking for him. And what happened there? WWE lost sight and basically made Cesaro look like a goddamn laughingstock. And I just don't want them doing with that with Seth Rollins, especially using a pretty good portion of the year last year, getting Rollins to this point as being kind of the number one guy. And it's funny because Rollins, at this point right now, WWE is making Seth, well, not now, but over the last couple weeks, I should say, WWE is doing a very good job of making Rollins kind of seem like the number one, bad guy. Like, it's not even Brock. Basically, people want to get their hands on Seth Rollins and make him pay for all the shit that he's done rather than win the title. And at this point, it was good because Brock was off TV, but now that Brock is back on TV, that's not what you want to do. I think right now Rollins taking kind of a couple steps back wouldn't hurt, but don't take as many steps back as it would to, so he doesn't fall off the face of the planet like I feel that they're going to do with Dean Ambrose. But I'm getting a little too into it. Let's continue here. Natalya defeated Nikki Bella in a non-title match. Nothing really too spectacular there. Bad News Barrett retained over Sin Cara in what was said to be a fun match. I believe Sin Cara beat him last week on SmackDown, so I don't really understand the booking of Bad News Barrett right now. I don't understand the booking of the IC title right now. Because, there's three big stars going into the Rumble, Rowan, Ryback, and Ziggler. More so Ryback and Ziggler, and not so much Rowan. They're off TV. They now have, they have to sell this stupid storyline. Ryback now has to sit down. He's basically being benched for his feud with Rusev, and that's why Rusev's being thrown to the pack of wolves with Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns all the goddamn time, because they just decided to throw him to the damn bench, and I don't know why the hell they did that. Ziggler was in the middle of an IC title thing, and he could, him and Bad News Barrett could have delivered, but I guess we have to wait on that. I don't know what WWE has planned for that whole firing thing, unless they have them being some big return in the Rumble, which that's pretty dumb if you ask me. But all to just add to the gimmick, I guess. Finally, we have Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan, and Roman Reigns versus Kane, Big Show, and Seth Rollins. Oh, they beat them, excuse me. In a really good main event, the babyfaces all got pops, and everyone worked hard. SmackDown ends with the faces cheering. Pretty good ending to have Daniel Bryan kind of come back into the grand scheme of things. And if you guys watched my Raw review, you know why I got a sour taste in my mouth about Daniel Bryan now, and it's nothing against him. It's just the booking against him, Him going into WrestleMania and winning the way that he did, because everyone was so paranoid because we were going to have we were going to have Batista and Orton for the belt, and there were people threatening that they were going to stop watching because Daniel Bryan's not in this position and CM Punk's not in this position. Well, you got what you wanted, Marks. So, Daniel Bryan got his moment at WrestleMania, and hopefully, hope to God, WWE does not go with the retold story of having Daniel Bryan win the Rumble and then beat Brock for the damn belt at Mania 31. I hope to God that's not what they do. I think have Roman win it if that's what you've been building him up for the last couple weeks ever since his return. Do that if you want to make him into the face of the company. I'm just worried what you have in store for him after WrestleMania, so that's going to be the show for you guys this week. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys, the show does not always have to be about SmackDown. If you guys want me to review some sort of, I almost said soap opera, some sort of reality show or Impact for that matter. I don't get Destination America, so that would That would help me a little bit if we talked about Impact on the show. But usually I dish out one of these a week. I don't mind throwing two out there if we start talking about Impact. So let me know what you guys think. What do you guys plan on watching SmackDown this week? Do you guys not? And of course, this is the season of the people. You guys control the show. What you guys want? I'm going to go back to the desktop here so you guys can go get that website again so you can check out Ryan Davis's podcast. And if you want your face plastered on my desktop for next week's edition of Hashtag Spoilers, you can reach me on Facebook, Perry the Entertainer. I'll include that in the description as well. Or you can just send it to me through Twitter. I think that's much easier. I'm usually on Twitter 24/7. And pretty soon I'm going to be putting out an email so you guys can send it that way as well. That's just a much easier way. It's an old-fashioned way, but it's much easier. Plus, I'll get it and all sorts of stuff like that. Anyway, that is going to do it for me this week, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and until next time, which may or may not be in a couple days, because I do want to kind of talk to you guys about just kind of things going on this channel. I upload two videos, a week, and I feel that that's not enough. I feel that I'm not putting enough content out there for you guys, and I want to see what you guys have to say. But that's another story for another video. This is Perry the Entertainer signing out, and peace. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you.